The first time I saw her, she had this effortless charm, the kind that made people gravitate toward her without even realizing it. She carried herself with a confidence that wasn't forced, just natural, like she belonged anywhere she stepped. She was witty, sharp, and had a smile that could make you forget every wrong thing in your life. When we got together, I felt like I had won something rare, someone out of my league. The first few months were perfect, almost dreamlike. We laughed until our stomachs hurt, stayed up for hours talking about everything and nothing, and made memories I thought would last forever. I felt lucky, blessed. But perfection never lasts, does it? It started subtly. Small jabs, playful teasing that I brushed off. She's just joking, I told myself. That's just her humor. But humor, I learned, can be a weapon. The teasing turned sharper, the remarks cutting deeper. Then came the public humiliation, so casual, so effortless, as if it was second nature to her. At first, it was little things, mocking the way I dressed, the way I spoke, the way I got excited about things. We'd be out with her friends, and she'd throw in comments that made them all laugh. "Oh, you should have seen him trying to fix the sink the other day. He looked like a lost puppy." They laughed. She laughed. And I forced a smile. But it didn't stop there. One night, we were out at a bar with her group. I had just gotten a big opportunity at work, something I had worked my ass off for. I was excited, proud, and I wanted to share it with her, with them. But before I could even finish, she burst out laughing. "Oh, come on, that's not even that impressive. My ex used to do way bigger deals." Laughter erupted around the table. Not mine. The words hit like a punch to the gut, the kind that knocks the air out of your lungs. I looked at her, waiting, hoping, for some kind of reassurance, a glance that said she didn't mean it, that it was just a joke gone too far. But she was too busy enjoying the moment. That was the first time it really hit me. I wasn't her partner. I was her punchline. I should have walked away that night. But I didn't. Instead, I stayed. Hoping she'd realize how much it hurt. Hoping she'd change. But people don't change unless they want to. And she didn't want to. Then came the breaking point. We were at another gathering, this time at a friend's house. As always, she was the center of attention, effortlessly drawing people in. And, as always, I was the subject of her jokes. "You guys should have seen how he panicked when he couldn't find his car keys," she said, grinning. It was like watching a child lose his favorite toy. Laughter filled the room. Loud, endless, deafening. That was it. Something inside me switched off. I didn't react. I didn't argue. I just sat there, silent. And in that silence, I made a decision. I stopped trying. I stopped calling first. Stopped laughing at her jokes. Stopped being the person who was always there, always available, always waiting for her to treat me like I mattered. At first, she didn't notice. She carried on, playing her part, believing I was still in the cycle, still trapped. But then something shifted. The texts started coming in more frequently. The questions. The "why are you being so distant?" messages. And for the first time, I didn't feel the need to explain. She grew frustrated. "Why are you acting weird?" she asked one night, her tone laced with confusion. "I'm not," I replied simply. And I wasn't. I just wasn't playing the role she had written for me anymore. Then came the panic. The sudden flood of calls, the anxious texts, the attempts to act sweeter, trying to pull me back in. But it was too late. The grip she once had on me had loosened, and she could feel it. One night, she showed up at my place unannounced. Gone was the confident, sharp-tongued woman who used to command every room. Now, she stood in front of me, vulnerable, uncertain. "You don't talk to me anymore," she said, her voice softer than I had ever heard it. Did I do something? I looked at her, really looked at her. And that's when I saw it. The laughter that once lit up her face, the same laughter that had made me the joke in every room, was gone. Now, she was the one searching for reassurance. I took a deep breath. "I just don't think we're good for each other." Her face fell. She opened her mouth to argue, to plead, to convince me that things could go back to how they were. But I knew better now. I wasn't her entertainment anymore. I wasn't a toy to be broken down and rebuilt at her convenience. So I walked away. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. She stood there, stunned, her usual quick-witted comebacks nowhere to be found. I saw it in her eyes, the realization that this was real. That I was serious. That I was really done. Her hand twitched, reaching out as if to grab my arm, but she hesitated, stopping herself just short of touching me. Wait, you don't mean that. I smiled then, a calm, knowing smile, the kind I had never worn in her presence before. I do. And for the first time, she had no control. No audience to laugh along with her. No clever jokes to shield her insecurities. Just silence. And in that silence, she finally felt what I had felt all those nights she had turned me into a joke. I stepped past her, feeling the weight of years of disrespect lift from my shoulders. No anger. No regret. Not even sadness. Just relief. As I stepped outside into the cool night air, I heard her call my name one last time. A final, desperate attempt. But I didn't turn around. She had laughed at me for so long, never believing I would leave. And now, the only thing left between us was her silence.